Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going over stop losses and why they're important. And yes, you should definitely use stop losses if you are a new trader. If you're experienced and know what using stop losses entails, then maybe you have your own strategy with stop losses. But for new traders, basically a stop loss is something you set. Like, so say I have 10 shares of SPY at, actually I'll go over another stock. Say I have 10 shares of Macy's, right? So say I have 10 shares of Macy's at $30.50. And basically, uh, what a stop loss is if the price goes down to a certain level and you have a stop loss activated, it will sell for you. So say you draw a trend line. I taught you guys about trend lines in another video. So as you can see, Macy's has a decent looking trend line that's a little sloppy because it doesn't really respect some of these levels. But let's draw the trend line from here. So say we have this trend line, and say the trend line comes right here, and we want to get in. So say we get in at 30.45, right? And we get in because we think it's going to bounce off the trend line. So we get in, and this is a good time to set a stop loss. And I always set stop losses under support, and in this case, this trend line is acting as the support line. And you guys know what support and resistance is based off my support and resistance video. So you would set your stop loss under the trend line, right? And if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, you always want to wait till the candle closes over to get out or get in. And as you can see, this candle never closes over, but it does go under the trend line, right? So if I'm setting a stop loss, I usually put it like 10-20 cents below the trend line, because sometimes it wicks down under the trend line and then just bounces right back up and never closes. So as you can see, the trend line is at 30.45 right here at this unit in time, and it goes to 30.41, and my stop loss probably would have been like 40.37, and as you can see, it never got hit, and then the price went back up. So always set stop losses under support, or like under support lines, or if you're going short, always set them above the resistance a little bit, but don't set them right on resistance, because usually they tap resistance or go a little over and then fall, or they usually tap support, go a little under, then bounce back up. So it all depends. So that is why, and setting a stop loss is very important because, one, you minimize risk. Say a stock just totally tanks to like 50%, like 50% goes 50% down, and you have a stop loss at like say 5 or 10%, or base if it falls under the support. You will save yourself a lot of money and free up a lot of cash for you tomorrow. And the most important thing I say to people in the stock investing game is protecting your capital, and stop losses will definitely protect your capital. Always respect your stop losses. If a stock keeps going down, do not be one of those people that keeps moving your stop loss down, because that just totally wrecks the purpose of having a stop loss. What I say to people is, if you have a stop loss and you respect your stop loss, and you lose a trade, that is a successful trade, because you went with your plan, you respected your stop loss. But if you have a stop loss and you keep moving it down, and then it somehow bounces up and you're green and then you sell, that is a failed trade, because even though it hit your stop loss, you never respected it like you said you would in the first place. But maybe you do change your stop loss based on, maybe you are a little more experienced and keep moving your stop loss down because you start seeing strength, blah blah blah. But for new traders, always respect your stop loss. If you keep moving it down, that is failing the trade. You are not following your plan, and if you don't follow the plan, that is not a successful trade. So I always use stop losses there. And last video we talked about VWAP, and I'll show you an example of setting a stop loss based on VWAP. So when these candles go up here, we see it get rejected, and this red candle would have been nice confirmation, and then this candle would have been even more confirmation. But say you saw this red candle and you wanted to go short, your stop loss would be a little above VWAP. It would not be on VWAP because sometimes it touches it or goes a tiny bit over and then goes down again. So if the VWAP's at 30.62, my stop loss would be like at 30.70 maybe. So that is that. And sometimes, so there's something called mental stop losses where you don't actually put a stop loss order in the market. Also, I'll show you guys how to do a stop loss order quick. So basically, if you want a stop loss, you go to order type, you click stop, and then say I had shares at 30.50 and I want my stop at 30.30, so I just enter 30.30, do it for the amount of shares I have, whether that be 10, 50, whatever, and then I just do that. So that is what a stop loss is. It's pretty self-explanatory. It saves you a lot, and for new traders I recommend you always so if you're trading shares, I always recommend a stop loss like around 10 to 12% red. So as soon as you're 12 or 10% red, just cut the trade, minimize your losses right away. And if you're doing options and you're a new trader, I always recommend your stop loss be like 20% max. Always cut if it's below 20%, unless it's like a really, really, really cheap contract, and you're only down like $5, but you're down like 50%. It depends on what you're trading, but options 10-20% stop loss I recommend, and then shares like 10 to 12% stop loss. It depends on how much you're willing to lose. Only put money in the trades that you're willing to lose. And yeah, so let's go over one more example real quick. So if we go to let's go to SPY. So if we look at SPY, so say we wanted to enter on this breakout. So do you see how it closes over this line right here? This is like a mini resistance line, as I talked about previously in another video. So say we see this green candle, we see it close over, and then we want to enter right here, right? So our stop loss would be under this line. So this line sitting at 462.75, and our stop loss would be like at 462.65, because in that case, if it goes like 5 cents below the line, we wouldn't get stopped and it would go green. And if it ends up going to 462.65, then we would get stopped, and we would likely see it close under this line and fall again. So and just so you guys know, lines do not work every time. We could see this wick down to 0.65 and you get stopped out, and then it goes back up again, but I still consider that a successful trade because there's really nothing you can do about it. As long as you respected your stop, that shows you have discipline and it shows that you are minimizing risk. So having a stop loss is very, very important. I definitely recommend using stop losses, especially as a beginner, but maybe I'll get more into stop losses in the future. I have like certain situations like based on how I set them, but like this video if you're gonna start using stop losses from now on. Let's see if we can get 10 likes on this video. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good night. Make sure to tell your friends about my channel if they need help, and like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and other than that, peace.